Hi, my name is Kris. I am 25 years old and I live in Colorado. I have a master's in engineering and I am going to be a single mother. So I am currently, I'll be 14 weeks tomorrow, and I thought maybe it's just kind of a good time to start doing like a video blog, just so that my friends and family can kind of stay in the loop because they're all back in Kansas City and kind of all over the country right now. And then it's kind of something nice to look back on later down the road. So a lot of people actually don't know that I'm pregnant yet, and so I thought right now it would just be a really good time to talk about what I went through with the first trimester, just so that a lot of people know, especially pregnant women know what you go through. But so like week 1 through 4, I was just like extremely tired, and I just never felt like I could catch up on sleep, and which is really strange for me because I can like pass out within 5 minutes of hitting the pillow. So I always thought it was kind of strange that I was having really like a lot of problems sleeping, and I thought maybe it's just, I don't know, chalked up to stress from work because I was under a lot of stress at work. Right around 2 weeks after I conceived, I started getting what felt like cramping, like a period. Although my period never came, I was about a week late, and I was kind of getting worried. And so the father told me that I should go take a pregnancy test. And so I was like, well, I don't know, it can't really hurt anything, right? So I went to Walmart and just picked up the cheapest one I could find. Like, it came with 2, I'm pretty sure. And so I went and got them. I took one right when I got home. It had a extremely faint line on it. And I thought, well, maybe I just let it sit too long, because if you let it sit too long, then it can overprocess. So right before bed, I took another one, and it kind of had that same, like, you had to squint. It's really hard to look at it to even see that it was there. And I didn't know anything about pregnancy tests. I just thought that maybe it was bad because it was cheap. So I went to Walmart again in the morning and picked up 2 first response. Well, it was 1 box. It came with 2. Brought it home because it was the weekend, and took one first thing in the morning. And once again, I had like that really faint second line, and so I was still kind of skeptical. So I took the other one like at lunchtime, and it had it again. So I was kind of worried at that point. Like, okay, probably am. But so I went to Walmart again and got the digital ones, just so that it was like clear and to the point, like yes or no. And they both said pregnant. So I took 6 tests, all positive. Can't really deny it. So I told Justin, who's the dad, and he wanted me to get an abortion at first, and so we talked through that option, and I just wasn't comfortable with it because I didn't think I would be able to live through the guilt. And that's just not my upbringing. Like, you take responsibility for your actions. So then I told my mom, and she kind of had a feeling that something was wrong, which is weird. We have a weird connection. And but my family's very supportive. And then I told my stepdad just a couple of days later, because he was having a bad week. So I told him after he got home and kind of was relaxed and stuff. And then after my parents knew, I told my 2 best friends, and that's still kind of all who knows, except that I have a couple of other friends that are pregnant right now too, and so we kind of just compare what we're going through. One is further along than me by a couple weeks, and the other one is behind me. She's like 5 or 6 weeks behind me, and another girlfriend of mine who's got like a 4-month-old. So she's already been through it all. So after they all found out, it was such a huge relief, because I was mostly scared to tell my family, just because like, I know they're supportive, but at the same time it was kind of a letdown, I guess, since I'm not married and stuff. So that was week 1 through 4. After that was probably 3 weeks in by the time I found out, and I just started getting like really moody. I kind of noticed like PMSing, but worse. just like mood swings. So then week 5 through 8, week 5 felt a lot like week 1 through 4. It was fine. I just kind of was moody a little bit. Week 6, like the nausea hit me like a brick in the face, and I was like vomiting all the time, probably 2 or 3 times a day, and it was just really not fun to work with. And I'm a software developer, and so like trying to hide it at work was just really hard. I was extremely tired still. I was constipated, and I peed a lot, which those were probably the 2 most frustrating things behind being nauseated. Week 7 was my first ultrasound to confirm, and it was so fun to see because it had, like, I could see the baby, and I saw the heartbeat for the first time. It was just so cool. That's kind of when, you know, everything kind of hits you. Week 8, my nausea was still pretty bad. We went to an Indian restaurant to eat, and the smells there just are like, there's so many spices in Indian food. I mean, it smells good when you're not pregnant, but then when you are pregnant, you just, like, yeah, it's a lot of smells. So that night, like a couple hours after I ate, I ended up getting sick like usual, except I tore my esophagus lining. And that was probably the most excruciating pain that I've ever been through. It felt like being stabbed in the sternum with a really sharp knife, just over and over and over again all night. So I took a Benadryl just to kind of make myself get knocked out, because my sinuses are really bad too. But yeah, so I went to sleep and got up the next morning, and it felt like a butter knife stabbing me still. So I went to the doctor that week, and they did another ultrasound. Everything was fine. They put me on a fluid diet, which was not fun, but it actually was better to be on fluids than it was try to eat solids and go through the vomiting and nausea. At least it came back easier. So at that appointment, on the week 8 appointment, so like week 8 through 12, they put me on a prenatal, which is awesome. It's, I don't know if you can read that, it might be backwards. But it's this vitamin that it has like all of the folic acid, it's got omega-3, it's got a stool softeners, like everything in one pill, and it's just phenomenal. And although it didn't help with the nausea, they put me on 2 separate medications for nausea. One was for daytime, which apparently is really hard for you to get through your insurance. Like my insurance company would only let me get 10 pills at a time, which was fine because I was only taking 1 per day anyway. And they gave me 1 at nighttime, and I would take 2 at night, and that not only helped with nausea, but it would help with sleeping through the nausea, because the sleep part was really hard to do when you were sick. And then these prenatal vitamins, they also help with constipation, and I drank a lot of Sprite to kind of get me through some of the other nausea issues that I was having. And then like week 12 came along, and all of a sudden I just woke up one morning and I just felt awesome. Like all the nausea was gone, and I just felt like all the fatigue had finally just subsided. The only problem was I was still puking like 2 or 3 times a day. So during the first trimester, I probably lost like 2 pounds, but my doctor didn't really seem that concerned. Week 13, which was just last week, the vomiting finally stopped. I just kind of, every once in a while, kind of feel like I'm going to get sick, but then it just goes away. I'm not fatigued, and constipation is gone, and really the only symptoms I have are like I'll get bloated really easy, like in the afternoon after I've been eating all day, and I have a lot of saliva. For some reason, my mouth is just constantly watering, and I wake up like my sinuses and everything will be just really congested, like with some chest congestion in the morning. But I did get a humidifier, so that should help with that, I've heard, but it hasn't really helped a whole lot. So I don't really know. We'll see how it goes. So that's kind of that. I mean, I kind of went through a lot of the typical, I guess, pregnancy symptoms. They suck, like, a lot. And I was just talking to someone yesterday, and they're like, yeah, it sucks. And then you forget about it, and you get pregnant again. And I was like, I don't think that I'll forget this, because it sucked.